Melanie Jamore. The choir is going to sing it. If you want to tap, sing, hum, dance, whatever along, please do so. Thank you.
Thank you, choir. I'm realizing that the next step is land acknowledgement, and that Vermont has amazing farmlands that were made possible by cutting down all those living trees. But we acknowledge that Champlain Valley Unitarian Universalist Society gathers on lands seized from the Western Abenaki people. And these neighbors of ours are still among us, and they are still marginalized by us cutting down their living trees. And we acknowledge each week that we benefit from our nation claiming their land, because we do. But we acknowledge it each week because we realize that undoing coloniality goes hand in hand with undoing white supremacy, and that is not quick or easy work. Growing in love and justice is never quick and easy, but it can be deliberate and joyful. And so with that, here we are at CVUUS to be deliberate and joyful in pursuing justice and love. So I want to start out by saying Happy New Year. We are so happy that you are here at CVUUS. I'm Liam Battjes, the worship associate for this morning, and I'm really pleased to welcome my friend Elio Farley, who is a Middlebury senior, and they are studying gender studies and education and doing all kinds of social action. We also have our special guest musician, Aida O'Brian, And Aida also graduated from Middlebury and then left us for New York City. I don't know why. But they did us the grace of saying, I'd like to come back and visit. And so, Aida, we're so happy that you're here. It's our privilege. There are many others who have added their creativity to this service, visual creativity, snacks afterwards. The best way to say thank you to them right now is to turn off those interrupting devices. Oh, wait a minute. I haven't explained yet why I said Happy New Year, did I? Okay. Let's see, the name March comes from that fairly awkward Roman calendar. And March is named after the god of war, Mars, because at the beginning of the year, Rome would rally the troops after winter and march into their next military conquest, their next military campaign. And that's why at the beginning of the Roman calendar, it was the first month of the year. And that explains why October, literally meaning the 8th month, November, 9th month, December, 10th month, January was 11, February was 12, cut short a little bit, except for we leaped a little bit longer. And this is actually the beginning of the Roman calendar year. Happy New Year, we're going to march into war. But many of us were brought up with different marching orders. Those of us who were raised in a Judeo-Christian or even a Buddhist traditions, we were taught to love our neighbors and to treat others as we would have them treat us, which usually didn't mean killing each other. And indeed, one of a spiritual leader who was crucified by the Roman Empire gave his followers orders to love their enemies. Those are very different marching orders. But it's with those orders in mind that I would like to enter March. And so our opening words are from Bruce Coburn's recent song called Orders. The just, the merciful, the cruel, the stumbling, well-intentioned fool, the deft, the oaf, the witless pawn, the golden one life smiles upon, the squalling infant in mid-squall, the neighbors fighting down the hall. The list is long, as I recall, but our orders said to love them all.
The cynic and the crooked priest, the woman wise, the sullen beast, the enemy outside the gate, the friend who leaves it all to fate, the drunk who tags the bathroom stall, the proud boy headed for his fall. The list is long as I recall. Our order said to love them all.
The pastor preaching shades of hate, the self-inflating head of state, the black and blue, the starved for bread, the dread, the red, the better dead, the sweet, the vile, the tall, the small, the one who rises to the call. The list is long, as I recall. Our orders said to love them all.
The one who lets his demons win, the one we think we're better than. A challenge great, as I recall. Our order said to love them all.
Amaya, you are going to help us light the chalice lighting as Elio shares some thoughts from Radical Tenderness.
Our chalice lighting is from Co-Sensing with Radical Tenderness, which is part of the Gesturing Towards Decolonial Futures Collective. We light this chalice to open our sense of wonder and push us beyond our systems of meaning and knowing. We light this flame to open our ears to lovingly listen and to open our minds to what we can't and may not understand. We light this flame to remind us to be open to all others and co-sense with radical tenderness that an old world is dying, even as something is new is being born beyond our control.
You may rise in body and spirit and sing with me, "There's More Love Somewhere."
So I'm here this morning with Jet Pig, who is somewhere. Oh, does someone see them? Ah, thank you. Yeah, they don't really like hanging out up here or like right next to me either, so. All right, let's put you there. So this is the first of 6 Sundays where Jet Pig and I are exploring the proposed shared UU values, which are going to be voted on in June at General Assembly online. And we're sharing them here at Time for All Ages and then in the Religious Exploration Program with the kids. So let's find out what value we're doing today. So let's check. That's right, it is an exciting moment. Let's check the backpack. It's a kazoo. Jet Pig, why do you have a kazoo in your backpack? You never know when there's going to be a parade. Okay. That's true, I guess. All right, but I'm hoping that you have something else in your backpack, so. Yes, this is what I need. I'm going to put you down. All right. So we got a little slip. It says, justice. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. I just want to point out where this is on this. So this is the graphic that shows the proposed UU values. There's 6 with love at the center. Oh, no. It would have helped if I had put this in the right order. JETPIG. Jetpig. Yeah, isn't that so weird that Jetpig's name is Jetpig? Like, what are the chances? So, justice. This is the first one we're doing. And we have a story for you today that is based on the real life of the person who made it. So this is a book called The Artivist, perfect book for a Vermonter, Artivist. The Artivist by Nicholas Smith, written and illustrated. Yep, there you go. I love to paint. It relaxes me. They say I'm an artist. I love to help my community, to seed goodness in the world. They say I'm an activist. But sometimes the world that I see is not the world that I wish to see, and the problems seem larger than life. I want to scream. I want to help. I want to act. I want to hold up a mirror to the world and show everyone what isn't working right. This needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed too. Above the surface, this seems all right, but that's when I realized that fixing things requires us all to look deeper. All I can think to do is paint the problems and the solutions people can work on together. I think it's time to combine both parts of who I am to take action with my art. It's time to become an artivist. I will sketch and draw and scribble and paint the broken bones I see and the healing I hope for. Move today. Love today. Until hopefully I open a few eyes to the things that aren't working right. Or many, many eyes. Artivism has the power to spark, I'm saying spark repeatedly for the younger group whose name is the what? The Sparks, and this is why. Artivism has the power to spark the compassion and empathy of the whole world, and the artivist can light that flame. The artivist can inspire others to give back by painting what everyone deserves. The shirt says, "My life is worth more than all the guns." The artivist must be brave enough to speak up, even when it is scary, and humble enough to listen before speaking. The artivist is an ally. The artivist is a protector of the planet and the planet's children. The artivist is a memory keeper, painting justice for all, especially those who no longer have a voice. The artist doesn't only paint, she sings, he writes, they film. We repurpose, we build, we bring awareness to what can be changed for the better so that everyone can take action. The artivist is a visionary who pieces the world back together until the world is whole again. The artivist is you. So what change will you create? And now, let us sing the kids off to go create worlds and change things as we always do, with peace, salam, shalom.
This month, as you give, some of your gifts will be split between supporting the ministries of CVUUS and also our monthly partner, Atria Collective. And if that's an unfamiliar name, that's because it's a new name. It's a new name for the organization Women's Safe. And they made that change because they support many different gender expressions, anybody who is feeling unsafe and needing some support through a transition to find a place of safety and of hope. You'll hear more about Atria Collective next week. At this time, I'm going to invite you to give as generously as you're able as Aida gifts us with "You Are Not Alone." From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Aida, thank you for that song. That was the perfect way of affirming the work of the Atria Collective. Could you feel that? That was a way of partnering with people going through very difficult transitions. That was beautiful. Thank you. I didn't have any yellow cards, but I didn't emphasize that you could do that. So I'm going to be somewhat apologetic. Our time of contemplation is a time to be mindful. And it will be a time to be mindful of places where we are hurting, and a time to be mindful for where our neighbors may be hurting, or our relationships with our neighbors are hurting. It will be a guided meditation that Elio and I will be inviting you through. If it helps you to focus, to close your eyes, you may. If it helps you to focus, to read on the screen, you may. Whatever helps you to be present.
So the time of contemplation is called Moving Beyond Our Bubbles. And it's an invitation to practice compassionate curiosity for ourselves, our home, our community, and the larger world. Compassionate curiosity begins with listening to yourself. Take a deep breath and let it out gently. Where is there hurt or discomfort in your body? Let this pain sit with you within the bubble of your consciousness. Ask this feeling, what are you doing here? What would you like me to know? Thank you for your message. I hear you. May you be at peace.
Take another breath and let it out slowly. Are there any thoughts of frustration, worry, or sadness drifting through your mind? Let one thought sit with you. Sit with you within the bubble of your consciousness and ask this thought, what are you doing here? What would you like me to know? Thank you for your message. I hear you. May you be at peace.
Take another breath and let it out deliberatively. Are there any unfamiliar or uncomfortable relationships within this room. Breathe and imagine sitting next to someone with whom you're uncomfortable. In the expanding bubble of your consciousness, ask this person, what are you hoping for? What would you like me to know? Thank you for your message. I hear you. May you be at peace.
Take another breath and let it out bravely. Think of someone in your neighborhood who is not like you and disagrees with you, sometimes in disagreeable ways. Breathe and imagine sitting next to this neighbor who has a different viewpoint. Sit with them in the stretching bubble of your consciousness and ask this person, how is life going for you? What would you like me to know? Thank you for your message. I hear you. May you be at peace.
Finally, take another breath, knowing our breathing is interconnected. Our air is connected to the trees, animals, and people around this complex planet. Imagine a person or creature from the news, local or international, is sitting next to you, just outside the bubble of your consciousness. Pop the bubble and ask, what is it like to be you? What do you want me to know? Thank you for your message. May you be at peace. I feel like every time she sings, I just get teary. So I've been teary all service. It's so wonderful to be with y'all. So this reading is song lyrics. And the song is Brothers, and it's by the Brilliants. And I listen to this song on relentless repeat when politics feel especially atrocious, and I'm having a lot of difficulty seeing the humanity in others and being able to express love towards them, because sometimes it just is really hard to love people when the way they're acting is very not loving. And in true Gen Z fashion, the lyrics are on my phone. So let me pull this up real quick. The first verse is repeated 4 times, so I'm only going to read it twice. But it's, okay. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. Forgiveness is the garment of our courage, the power to make the peace we long to know. Open up our eyes to see the wounds that bind all of humankind. May our shudder hearts greet the dawn of life with charity and love. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. I see my sister. I see my father. I see my mother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. All right, time for the message. Y'all prepared? I don't know if I'm prepared. I'm feeling a lot of feelings right now. Very grateful for that meditation earlier because I was real nervous prior to this. Now I'm like, ooh, okay, we're good, we're peaceful, connected to the world. All right. So when first dreaming this message, I told Liam I wanted it to be about faith and organizing, protest as an act of prayer. But then the pain of the world opened like a crevice these past 5 months. And in attempting to navigate that violence, a phrase planted in my brain, and I just can't seem to get rid of it. Our neighbor is not our enemy. I want to say that again. Our neighbor is not our enemy. What if we refuse to simplify another being into the false dichotomy of us versus them? Let me tell you a story. The holiest moment I ever experienced refused this false dichotomy. On the final night of Hanukkah, I was at a multi-faith, multi-generational menorah lighting. And under the guidance of my Jewish neighbor, my Muslim neighbor lit the menorah. And we sang the blessings and Hebrew anti-war songs. And as I gazed out of my keffiyeh I wore like a Catholic prayer veil, I realized how deeply I underestimated my community. Many of the people around me held deep fear for their loved ones in Palestine and Israel, and held diasporic and religious pains I do not know. And propelled by this fear and pain, and somehow greater than it, was a refusal to be complicit in US-funded genocide. And I thought this refusal just had to be based in a deep, politically consuming love. I understand this as love of my neighbor. And I'm really curious, what can happen if we expand our understanding of neighbors beyond geographic boundaries? Would we hold as much responsibility for the well-being of the children we will never meet as we do the preschoolers we see in snowsuits every morning? Could we care for people outside our segregated American neighborhoods? Could Middlebury's not in my backyard culture end? These are gigantic questions. But I believe in our capacity for compassion enough to try to answer them. And I have more questions, though, if you'll join me. Will you all join me? Okay, great. Got some thumbs up. Perfect. Okay. How do we want to love each other? Philosophically, practically, how do we want to love each other? Will we materially support people different from ourselves, not in an act of saviorism, but through a politic of solidarity and neighborliness? Will we offer childcare so a parent can take an extra shift? Will we demand a living minimum wage out of our legislatures? Will we keep our eyes out for ICE checkpoints and warn our neighbors? Will we boycott Hannaford Dairy until they sign on to Leche con Dignidad, milk with dignity, because our neighbors deserve decent labor conditions? Will we learn the languages of our neighbors? Refuse the sentiment that English is the language of this land when we know it's the colonizer's tongue? If you've answered yes to any, I hope we can act in accordance. Ideals are great, but we need action too. Now, I'm going to ask some questions I'm nervous asking even myself. And we're going to be uncomfortable together, because that's where growth happens. Will we jump the car of the neighbor with the obnoxious lawn signs? If we don't care for their politics, do we at least care that they can get to work on time? Will we take the time to actually talk to them and be curious enough to learn why they hold those beliefs? Will we actually listen to what they say and not just listen to respond or argue? And if we don't want to talk to them about politics, will we ask them about their loved ones, or at least the weather? Will we deliver them soup when we learn they've lost someone they love? Can we earn their trust enough to care for them, to allow that relationship to be reciprocal, to invite them over for coffee, to dare to call them a friend? Believe me, I know what it's like to love someone whose politics disagree with my very existence, who was taught that I am a threat to their values. I live that pain. I witness it in my own family. And I refuse to let pain be my guiding force in this world. How can we be neighbors with the people we disagree with? Honor our disagreements and the pain that tension causes, and refuse to simplify our humanity into yet another case of them and us? Can we see the counter-protester with the sign that makes the skin crawl as our neighbor? These are not questions of passiveness or agree to disagree. I also honor that depending on your neighbor's views and your positionalities, engaging can turn from uncomfortable to unsafe. You must trust your judgment, and the rest of us must respect your call. I've asked us these questions because I'm still figuring out the answers. Chances are I'll have white hair and still not know the answers. I'm really just trying my best here. And I do not believe that caring for someone I'm supposed to disagree with weakens my personal politics. Oftentimes we can't agree on some things. We could even coalition together. But what about when we can't? When disagreement moves to hate? When a white Christian nationalist comes to a pride event, I am not enthused to talk to that guy. But I do, or someone else on the safety team does. We keep us safe, after all. And engagement is absolutely safer for some than for others. Part of checking in is a vibe check, making sure he's not acting dangerously. Sometimes he wants to hurt people. Sometimes he just wants to be listened to. And part of talking to him, at least for me, is gigantic curiosity. And I know you may be thinking, what in the world are you talking about, Elio? Being curious? What a, white Christian nationalist has to say? But okay, stick with me. I really want to know what verses he references. And I want to know, if he hates gay people so much, why did he go out of his way to be surrounded by us? What? But I think most importantly, I want to know how we can both believe in some form of something. I don't even know what it is, but there's something. But his belief allows him to hate me and others, while mine refuses that simplicity. Christian nationalism is a religion of fear, and whatever I believe in is a faith of boundary-defying love. Deep love enacted through compassion is, at least in my experience, the best way to resist violence. And I understand the instinct to other someone. Sometimes we just don't have the emotional energy to see someone in all their complexity. And sometimes that's fine. But it can't be all the time. And I get it. I really do. This us versus them thing, it's nice. It's efficient. It's easy. You know who's who and what's what, and you can move on to the more important things. We can be comfortable in our bubble. But this bubble of comfort cannot offer a path towards liberation and healing. I wonder if the important work we are being called to do, especially in as politically divided times as ours, is to refuse the learned behavior of enemy making. Enemies are a great excuse for continued violence. It is easier to murder your enemy than murder your neighbor. Our neighbors near and far must not become our enemies. Yet we're fed doctrines and policies that turn our neighbors into our enemies. We must refuse enemy making on a personal and collective level. And yes, of course, I'm talking about Gaza. And of course, I'm talking about inhumane immigration policies and murderous healthcare funding and about Next Benedict. And I'm talking about any political thing we could ever talk about. And I'm talking about any life thing we could ever talk about. Because life is political. How we live is political. Who gets to live is political. This ingrained practice of enemy making is the very root of the dehumanization that admits, justifies, and perpetuates cycles of brutal mass murder. When we make someone our enemy, we dehumanize them beyond redemption. The systems of violence that we try to survive in are also practices we enact onto each other. All of our actions either fuel or resist larger structural violence and the ideologies that empower it. How do we not continue violence when these interlocking systems are created and maintained through violence? There are many more questions I could ask, and maybe some that I ask that you would rather I have not. A year ago, I gave a sermon on sacred transness and said very simply, we don't deserve to be persecuted. No one does. We must continue that compassionate resistance to violence today. Love requires a radical refusal of modernity's lie of enemy making. Love is the only way we can faithfully continue in these deeply unethical and violent times. Blessed be.
Rise if you are able, in body or spirit, to sing with us, If I Had a Hammer.
All over this land, I have
bell. I ring it in the morning, ring it in the evening, all over this land. I ring out danger, I ring out warning, I ring out love between brothers and sisters, all over this land. I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. I've got a hammer, and I've got a bell. I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's an anthem of freedom, love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. I just found the bell.
Gonna read it in the morning. Oh, it is the morning. That sounds so fun. Oh my goodness. Okay. We have some really exciting things happening this week when I can flip to the page and figure out what exactly is happening this week. Oh gosh. I lost it. Oh, here we are. Got it. Okay. It's buried, lost in the sauce. Okay, so our pathways to connection. Monday is town meeting day for Middlebury, so that's tomorrow. And remember to vote on Tuesday. And next Sunday is daylight savings, so be sure to spring those clocks ahead. And if you're late for service, come anyway. Just come. Yeah, no, not the choir. Well, and we have an activity fair and food drive happening then, and different affinity groups will be set up downstairs to invite others to join them. Volunteer groups, book groups, a tech team, choir, etc. Everyone will be there. You should come too. And please bring some food items to share with Hope and share some time with our community. We'll keep these closing words short. Yeah, I'm about to. I'm sure. Okay, so, yeah. Also, please join us after service. So 11:30 in here, get a coffee, get a cake, come upstairs for a de-escalation and safety training led by my trusted friend, Kenzie. They're right there, they're super cool. Learning to keep each other safe has been a really necessary part of my political practice, and I hope you join us. De-escalation is awesome for, protests, but it's also just awesome for everyday life, and it's consent-based and based in ideals of abolition and just thinking through what does it mean to be in a community with each other? How do we keep each other safe? How do we protect, First Amendment freedoms, right to assembly, all this stuff? Yeah, I really just have 2 sentences for closing, so. The hardest and most necessary work of our life is loving other beings. And it's such a gift to be able to do this alongside each of you. Thank you. Blessings.
Bye.